Namo Amida Bu. How you doing? Today I turned 60 years old, and I never, ever thought I would ever live to 30, much less 40, 50, never 60. I never imagined I would live this long. But I'm 60 years old today, and I love it. Um, I hear so many people my age saying, I wish I could go back, when I was 20. You couldn't pay me enough fucking money in the world to relive any of that. No way. No way. I am so grateful. Um, I just checked my phone. I'm off today, but I got a bunch of happy birthday wishes from coworkers. And I also checked online. A lot of my online friends wished me happy birthday. It's great to be appreciated, but the greatest thing is that I'm appreciated by Amitabha Buddha. I remembered what it was like being a Christian and being a lot of other things, a Wiccan and a New Ager. I never felt appreciated. I never felt loved by the cosmos. I never felt loved by any god or higher power. I thought all reality was against me. I thought all beings in the universe were in a conspiracy against Dave. And I'm serious, I did. And because I had the worst of luck, I lived each day in agony, barely hanging on by my fingertips. And now, at the age of 60, I am so grateful that I don't have to do that anymore. And the reason I don't have to do that anymore is because I one day decided to chant the name of Amitabha Buddha. And I kept on, and I loved it. And slowly I came to the realization this is what I had been looking for in every religion, especially in Buddhism. It fit perfectly. It fit like a glove. This morning, when I went online, one of my online friends gave he's also a person of Shinjin. It's always wonderful when you talk to someone who's a fellow person of Shinjin, a person of devoted, simple faith who's entrusted themselves and their karmic destiny to Amitabha and reaps the benefit of living that life. And it is a lifestyle for me. Unlike what the religion I was raised with was for members of my family, that wasn't a lifestyle for them. Christianity, being Southern Baptist, was not a lifestyle. It was something you inherited. And even though you were supposed to have made a personal commitment of faith to Jesus Christ, it wasn't personal. It was just expected. I remember when I got baptized, I think I was 10 or no, probably 7 or 8. The attitude of my parents was, well, you should have gotten baptized a lot sooner. And it was like, nothing's sacred in Christianity for me. It wasn't for me. I'm sure there are a lot of people who found Christianity for whom that is a wonderful thing for them. Power to you on where you are at the path. My dad once made the comment, I was looking for another church. I was checking out Catholicism. I was checking out Lutheranism. I was checking out the history of the church. And my dad, who was raised over by the ship channel in Houston back in the 1930s and 40s and 50s made the comment, David, I never once thought to question the faith I was raised in. And he said it like a badge of honor. He was very proud of that comment. And looking back on it, I could understand, given the historical context of my father's life, it was all about being part of the group, whether it was the church community, the work community, being a fierce nationalist. It was all about conformity. All I have to do is look back in elementary school, the early grades of elementary school, where they would show a lot of these old 1950 and 60 how-to films, which were just absolutely absurd, if not terrifying, if you really look at them. This kind of Dick and Jane were like storybook characters that they would use in little books to teach us how to learn how to read in elementary school. You know, run, Dick, run. Go, Jane, go. You know, these people, society at that time carried that on to how society was to be run. A very homogeneous, white, Protestant platform with a very scary android type of mentality that was geared toward complete and total conformity. A lot of people, including myself, are horrified when they look back at their childhood pictures. I don't have any left. I threw them all away. I was so done with my past. At how old we looked as children in junior high and elementary school. And I remembered looking back at myself with my horn-rimmed glasses and my weird haircut. I looked like some 50-year-old man, because 50, 60, 70-year-old men were running everything. And you would watch some of these old how-to videos, and it was how to wash, how to comb your hair, how to dress for whatever event. And the most terrifying one, and you can check it out on YouTube, it's out there. The proper way to have dinner with your family, which just, it's horrifying. They really expected us to be like this. But if you know, mother prepares the meal, and sister dutifully prepares the table, and brother helps little brother to get ready, and no one is to disturb father as he sits in his easy chair in the living room smoking his pipe before dinner because he's had a hard day at work. And on one level, I can kind of relate to that with all the order, having been indoctrinated in the 60s, I guess, growing up watching that crap. But on the other hand, it was the stiffest, most impersonal, loveless depiction of life. And I saw, looking back on that, I see a lot of that reflected in my frustration with my interaction with my parents. Me and my sister were both explosive personalities, and we would just go, you know. But my parents were they had this cold side. And the further back in time you go, the more of that you see documented in history. It's children are to be seen and not heard, you know. Just, in other words, what you have to say in your life does not matter. And so for my father to say to me, I never once thought to question what I was taught to believe, I could see how he would be proud of that. That my mouth dropped, my jaw dropped. I was like, WTF, man, you know, what? I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking, well, okay, that explains a lot about you. I never had that luxury. I mentioned talking to a friend online this morning, and I got ahead of myself. He documented this beautiful recounting of his spiritual journey to his simple faith in Amitabha Buddha and receiving Shinjin. His name is Yuri, and it is a wonderful, beautiful account of all his searching, all his inner self-reflection, both of his own life and his life in the context of what he was taught to believe. And it is so similar to what I went through, because both Yuri and I tried everything in our journey for the truth, and it started at a super young age. If I had not gone on that journey, if I had been a clone of my dad, I would have simply accepted the horrible conditions that my life was. And for that reason, I am honestly thankful for the horrible conditions that I grew up in. My parents' hot, cold attitude. They were either overly demonstrative to the point of being weird one minute, and then cold as ice. And it was maddening. And had I been happy with my life back then, I would have never searched any further. I am so grateful right now for the fact that my life was screwed up. And I've never said that before in a video. Certainly not like this. But on the day of my 60th birthday, I say that. And I can say happy birthday to me because I, for the first time in my life, am happy. I am happy. That's all I wanted. Didn't want to levitate, didn't want to fly, didn't want to walk through walls, walk on water. I wanted to be happy. I am happy. I'm not rich. I look around at Hollywood, I look at a lot of people that are rich beyond anything I could ever imagine, and their lives are shit. Their lives are hell. I would never, ever think to switch places with people like this. And people would say, yeah, but there's all that money, you know. At what cost? I've said it before, I'll say it again. I would welcome it if someone would offer me $1 million or $1 billion. I would retire like that. You know, I would just retire in a second, in a heartbeat. And I would grow vegetables. I would worship Buddha. But I would not seek to fit in and to conform with the rich people who had that amount of money. Because My life does not revolve around money. My life does not revolve around drugs, alcohol, sex. My life does not revolve, certainly does not revolve around politics. My life is Amitabha Buddha. My life is focusing as best I can, minute by minute, on Amitabha Buddha and his sacred name. My life is sharing any way I can the message of Amitabha Buddha without proselytizing, without pushing it on others, without telling people they need to believe this, they need to believe that. Because for me, Amitabha Buddha is life. I had a Mahayana Vietnamese master tell me once, one of his pet phrases was, Buddhism is life. This is true, but I go further. Amitabha Buddha is life. The Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha is the perfect, ultimate life. This is my true life. I've talked a lot about my own spiritual journey. But one of the things that's really taboo in our society is getting old. And you see people freak out as they get old. And it can be freaky. That's one of the benefits of not being a rich person. I really can't fuck my body up. The wonderful thing about being not a rich person, I mean, rich, poor, middle class, I don't know, at this point, I live a comfortable life. I don't see myself as poor. I'm sure some people would see me as poor. I live a simple life. I have a simple job. I don't make a lot of money, but I make more than enough to be happy and to provide for my needs. So therefore, I'm rich in my mind. So be it. But that being said, it seems the greatest horror a lot of people have is growing old. Of course, the irony of that is they're afraid to die. They don't want to die, but they want to be Peter Pan. They want to stay eternally young, youthful. Well, you don't stay young and youthful. And I don't care how much Botox you can afford. I don't care how much extensive plastic surgery you can afford. You're growing old by the minute. And today is my 60th birthday, and I couldn't be happier. I remember growing up, as I mentioned, my dad, he said he never once thought to question what he was taught to believe. He also dreaded dying. And everything, he managed to be a downer on basically everything. He didn't know how to manage his family. He didn't know how to manage his finances. He was a hypochondriac. He always went to the doctor, spent more money on the doctor than he did on his family. He ended up calling off sick so many times that he ended up getting fired, I think, from two jobs. He then filed for bankruptcy and lost that money and went for a walk, laid down, and died next to his wife, who was stranded in the bed with a stroke. That's not a happy life. That's a life lived in hopeless, quiet desperation. I will not have that. If I lose all of this, if I lose everything, I'm not going to have that because of him. He's enough. If I, like I've said before, and I'm not being melodramatic, if I'm under a bridge with this, or I don't know, whatever I could string together to make a mala, or I don't need a mala, but I have the name of Amitabha Buddha. I have Amitabha Buddha. I can hop on a bus and stumble into a temple and see an image of a Buddha and say Nimbutsu. I remember when I was homeless because I wanted to find out what it was like. And I was homeless for, God, what, 2-3 weeks? I don't know. Maybe more than that, maybe nearly a month. You lose all concept of space and time. It's actually kind of a pleasant sensation. It's almost like being drugged. It's like being in a daze. You wander around just figuring out where your next meal is going to be, where you're going to sleep. But you also see society from the other side. You see what people are like. You see there is you and people like you, the homeless, and then there are people who are part of the club. I guess that would be me at this point. That would be us, people who have a roof over their heads, who can take regular showers or baths, people who have jobs, have a means of support. Excuse me. It's weird how society is set up. I also look at a lot of younger people today, and I feel for them. They look at boomers like myself and other adults younger than myself acting stupidly, and they just laugh at us. They look at these fringe groups on either side of the political spectrum, and they just laugh. And I've come to appreciate and admire that, actually, because one of the things I remember from my dad growing up as he got older, everything was dire and serious, and I learned that from him. Boy, did I learn that from him. I was kept at home, being held a mental hostage till I was like 29. And when I moved out on my own, I knew nothing about life. I knew nothing about society. I knew nothing about what it meant to support yourself with a job, make enough money to live in an apartment, buy groceries. I knew nothing. I had other people out in the world who were compassionate enough to teach me how to live. Friends that I worked with, co-workers, people I had met in various organizations and places. I honestly explained to them I knew nothing about living on my own. And they taught me something my parents were unable to do. And getting back to what my father said, David, I never once thought to question what I'd been taught to believe. No shit. Yeah, Dad, That's pretty obvious. And bless your heart, up until the time you passed away, you never got the irony of that and its impact long term on your life. I am so thankful I rebelled against all that as a young age. I am so thankful I had the courage to move out on my own just barely before I was 30, because once I'd already started my spiritual search, but it went into hyperdrive once I went on my own. And now that I sit here at the age of 60, I am reaping the benefits of that search. That search was guided by Amitabha Buddha. Of that, I had no doubt. A real Buddha who lives in a real pure land was behind the scenes guiding my footsteps, leading me to the ripening of my karma where I could receive Shinjin. And as those of you who are my viewers know, I have my moments. I made a video talking about how, I was overwhelmed to the point of total distraction from current events. That's probably why I'm having a very good birthday. I haven't gone on news sites in over a week. And it's helped me. Had I not questioned what I was taught to believe, I would have settled for a very sad, sorry existence. Had I not questioned why, if God loves me and sent his son to die for me, why do people in the church mock me, shun me, talk down to me, insult me to my face like I'm not even there? Why does the Holy Spirit not do anything? Why does God not punish them and bring it to their mentality? The Buddha asked this in a sutra. He says, "Where art thou, O Brahma?" When the weak are oppressed, when the poor are trodden under by the rich, and I'm paraphrasing this, but when I read that Buddha asked these questions of God, it blew my mind. It's like, are you serious? This guy lived 500 years before Jesus, and he's making these comments back then. He made those comments back then because he was a fully enlightened being. He understood human nature. I never felt like the God of my religion understood anything about human nature, and much less about the human nature of Dave. I never felt like the God of my upbringing got it. And this was supposed to be my creator. This was supposed to be the being that breathed life into my body at birth. This was supposed to be the being that knew me before I was even an embryo in the womb. And yet, this being that I was raised to believe in and worship never seemed to get who Dave was. He never seemed to care when I was on my face crying and screaming and yelling and even sometimes cursing before I went to church, saying, please let these people show me the love of Christ. Let them show me acceptance. Let them show me, touch their hearts, convict their spirit. And it never happened. It never happened. So it wasn't easy for me to just simply do like my dad did and just never think to question what I was taught to believe, because at that point, what I was taught to believe, it didn't work. If anything, it worked against me. You know, I would turn the other cheek and I would get the shit kicked out of me. I would try to do unto others as they would do unto me, as I would have them do unto me, and I would spit on the ground, and they would call me names, and they would mock me for who I was, what I looked like, what I sounded like, how I dressed. And that doesn't stop. As anyone knows, that's the sad, barbaric aspect of human nature. But Jesus never taught me, Jesus in the Bible never taught me how to, coincide that with what Jesus commanded me in the Bible. It also never taught me how to coincide what Jesus taught in the Bible with what Yahweh did and was in the Old Testament. I shall destroy them utterly. The Psalm saying, happy are those who bash the children's heads of the enemies against rocks. I mean, I cringed when I saw that. And it destroyed any sense of peace and compassion toward a loving God of unconditional love. And what finished that feeling off was the fact that not only did it seem to me that the God that I was raised with didn't care about me, the God that I was raised with seemed to have it in for me. Call it paranoia, whatever. If God knew my heart and knew my mind and what hell I was going through, it made it even more spiteful and insidious that the very things I feared would come to pass, even after I soaked myself in prayer prior to doing anything. I took literally the term pray without ceasing. I sought to live every life, every moment, seeking in my mind the will of God, listening with an open heart, and hearing nothing from this God. How ironic that everything I wanted and never received from God the Holy Trinity, I received beyond with Amitabha Buddha. That's ironic, because a lot of Buddhists today tell me, oh, Amitabha Buddha is a fake Buddhist, fake Buddha. He's a fake Chinese Buddha. A lot of Theravada Buddhists will tell you that. There's a lot of Christians that will say, oh, Amitabha Buddha is Lucifer. He's a demon that disguises himself as an angel of light. Bullshit. Demons don't bring happiness into your life. An evil demonic force, even though I realize in the sutras it speaks of certain Maras who have repented of their evil ways and choose to serve Amitabha Buddha. An evil, deceptive demon cannot come into your life and bring joy and peace and happiness and deep spiritual fulfillment on levels you never imagined or were arrogant enough to pray for. I never dared to think that God would do for me what Amitabha has done overnight. I mean, yes, my faith has been strengthened significantly through the continual reading of the Dharma, through the continual saying of the name. But with the one thought moment of Shinjin, basically, Amitabha Buddha healed all wrongs in my spiritual life. With that one thought realization that Amitabha Buddha is the greatest Buddha. Amitabha Buddha is the greatest Lord. Amitabha Buddha is the true source of salvation in the universes, plural, all realms, all universes. Amitabha Buddha is the great healer. He is the great emancipator. He is the great light that shines. And make no mistake, this light is not a deception. It is a pure, pure light of healing, love. I've seen and experienced too many wonderful, positive miracles on a daily basis, which could not come from me. They come from Amitabha Buddha. And they're a daily occurrence. I think it's Shinran or Renyo, somewhere there was a temple that had a fire in it. And the picture of the name of Amitabha Buddha was burnt. But in its place, a bunch of little Buddhas were left. A bunch of little Buddha images. And someone came to either Shinran or Renyo and they said, "This is a miracle." I said, "No, it's not a miracle. This is Amitabha Buddha. Buddhas perform miracles all the time. Yes, it's a miracle, but that's what Buddhas do." He said, "This is not what you should be rejoicing about. What you should be rejoicing about is that even though we are people of blind passions, deceived, deluded, lost, simply by entrusting ourselves and our karmic destiny to Amitabha Buddha and saying his name while wishing to be reborn in his pure land, we will be reborn in his pure land. This is the miracle," he said. And then again, I apologize. I don't remember if that was Master Shinran or Master Renyo. But the point is, my life, having received Shinjin, has been one miracle after another after another. Yes, it is in the saha realm. These are miracles that occur in the saha realm. And all the crap that happens in life, thus the phrase, "Hey, that's life." Yeah, in other words, hey, that's the saha realm. There's always going to be the fly in the ointment. There's always going to be the pie landing upside down. There's going to be the peanut butter and jelly landing on the floor, jelly side down. It's going to be that. Until we leave this saha realm, then it's no more. And I'm telling you guys, at the age of 60, I don't have enough time left, whether it's 20, 30 years or 5 minutes, to screw around and BS you for the sake of some religious ideology. I got nothing to gain from that. I can't cash in on that. I can't get rich off of that. I don't want to. The reason I'm on this YouTube channel is because I cried out as a Christian in hell, living in hell, daily hell, to anyone, anything that could save me from that hell. I would serve them. I would worship them. I would shout their names from the tops of the rooftops, from the tops of the mountains. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm telling you, Amitabha Buddha is the best. He is the greatest. He is the phenomenon you're looking for. Amitabha Buddha has given me a joy that is so pure and so pristine. And yes, sometimes my clouds of, hatred, rage, lust, delusion, sometimes my clouds obscure that light. It's my clouds that obscure the light. It's not that he's fake. He's not. He's real. His light is real. His love is real. It is genuine. Once I leave the clouded world of saha, once I depart from this age of Mappo, this Dharma ending age, I will go to the pure land where there are no clouds to obstruct Amitabha's beautiful face. There are no delusions. There is no hell. There is no doubt. There is no fear. There is no sense of hopelessness. There is no poverty or fear of losing your job or losing your life or getting cancer or anything else. Being rejected. I felt that all my life. And there are times those delusions, like clouds obscuring the sun, will hit me. They don't last. I am having a wonderful birthday. Actually, this is funny. This is the first birthday I've never got myself a birthday cake. It was like a tradition with me. And the other day I went to Kroger's and looked at this small little birthday cake for $5, which I usually get because it's vanilla and it's delicious and it's just the epitome of birthday cake with the sprinkles. I looked at the ingredients and I said, holy crap. I got me some Annie's bunny birthday cake flavored graham crackers. And I read the ingredients. Everything was organic and natural, and I finished them off yesterday. And today I'm enjoying a big pasta salad, a huge pasta salad. And it's delicious. And I'm enjoying, the weather is beautiful. The weather is perfect. I have you guys, my viewers. It seems I'm appreciated at work. It seems that I am loved by many of you online. I am grateful to Amitabha Buddha for all of this. This comes from Amitabha Buddha. Because prior to Amitabha Buddha, I was always anxious and paranoid and fearful and never satisfied with anything. I would jump from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. I was always very terrified of the mundane, of the boring. But it's in those mundane, boring times where you can just sit and feel his love, feel his presence. I have so much to be grateful for right now. If I were to die today, I would have no regrets. I have no desire to be young. I am well rid of my 20s, 30s, 40s, and even 50s. I am happy to be an old man of faith in Amitabha Buddha. I am content. I am content to be a simple, old vegetarian Buddhist. That is what I always wanted to be, if truth be known. And now I have that through Amitabha Buddha, and only through Amitabha Buddha. So I want you guys to be grateful for Amitabha Buddha. Be grateful for the fact that he has given you the greatest gift you could ever receive, himself, through his name. Say his name, worship him, entrust yourself and your karmic destiny to him. I'm telling you, as an old man, I will never depart from that faith. I will never turn away from this faith. It is diamond-like. And what that means to me is that it cuts through all of the garbage of the saha realm, including my thoughts, my words, my weaknesses, my lusts, my emotions. Amitabha Buddha has a love of pure infinite light and life that is there for you 24 hours a day. Even when your doubts and fears obscure that light, I want you to know it's always there, shining. And if you just focus on him and say his name and let go and let him be who he is, he will reveal that light to you. I love you. Have a great day. Namo Amida Bu.